What is up, guys? John Anthony from masculinedevelopment.com, and today we're going to be talking about hardgainers. So, let me ask you a question. Do you feel like no matter how hard you try, no matter how much you eat, no matter what you try to do in the gym, you just can't seem to put on any muscle? Well, if that's you, then watch this video because I'm going to put a picture right here. And this is kind of embarrassing, but I was a hard gainer for many years. Way back when in high school, I was like 100 pounds soaking wet, super skinny. And obviously now I'm in pretty good shape, pretty jacked. And I wanted to share with you 5 tips that you can use to go from skinny to buff. So with that in mind, let's just jump right to it. The first tip is you need to eat more. This seems really obvious, but for some reason, people just don't seem to understand it. If you don't eat, you're not going to grow, right? That's where that old saying, eat big to get big, comes from. I remember when I was in high school and I couldn't seem to put on any muscle, I asked some of my buddies that were jacked, I said, hey guys, what's going on here? I can't seem to put on any muscle. I'm working out all the time. I don't get it. And so they asked me, well, John, what are you eating? And I said, for breakfast I'll have some oatmeal and a protein bar, and then for lunch I'll have a sandwich and an apple, and then for dinner some pasta and steak or whatever. And they burst out laughing, and they were like, dude, we eat that much for breakfast. So if you want to go from skinny to buff, if you want to build muscle and get jacked, you need to eat more. The goal is to eat 1 gram of protein per pound of lean body weight that you want to be at. So if you want to weigh 185 pounds shredded, eat 185 grams of protein each day. I really cannot emphasize this enough. If you think you're a hard gainer, you don't need steroids, you don't need SARMs. All you need to do is to eat more. Tip number 2, optimize your testosterone levels. So I won't get too political here, but for a number of reasons, men nowadays have low testosterone. In fact, I saw a study that actually said that testosterone levels have been declining very steadily since World War II, right? So there's a few things that you can do about this. The first thing is avoid plastics, avoid soy. You can take supplements like vitamin D, D-aspartic acid, ashwagandha. I'll put a link to an article I wrote down below on how to boost your testosterone. But if you're a hard gainer and you just can't seem to put on any muscle, then one great way to improve your odds of putting on muscle is to simply boost your testosterone. You don't need SARMs, you don't need steroids, just boost your testosterone, eat more food, follow these tips, and you'll be good. The third tip is to utilize PHAT training, or FAT training for short. This stands for Power Hypertrophy Adaptive Training. And one thing that I see is a lot of guys, they start off with starting strength when they first get into working out. And in all honesty, it's a good routine. But if you're trying to get an aesthetic physique with the 6-pack abs, big arms, all that stuff, you're not going to get it from starting strength. Starting strength is going to basically give you giant legs from all the squats you're doing and some big pecs. So you're going to look like a little T-Rex walking around with tiny arms and giant legs. So I recommend fat training. And fat training combines power training and hypertrophy training into one routine, which allows you to get the testosterone boosting benefits of strength training and the mass building benefits of hypertrophy training. So there's basically 2 types of training. There's power training, which is for strength, that's low reps, high weight, and then there's hypertrophy training, which is for mass, that's high repetitions and low weight. A good source to check out is Layne Norton. He talks about this a lot, Dr. Layne Norton. And the idea is that you want to combine strength days and mass days into one routine. Now, I personally have my own routine called Body Even Alpha. You can check the link in the description below to get it, or go to gettheperfectbody.com. But this basically lines out not only the workout routine that I use, but basically everything else. But it lines out my routine that's based off of these principles. So don't fall into the trap of thinking that you have to do starting strength to get big, because while it's a good starting place to build starting strength, it's not a good routine in the long run for aesthetics. Tip number 4, use bulking shakes. So if you have a hard time getting the calories that you need, consider bulking shakes. This is basically where you throw some ingredients into a blender, blend it up, and just down it. I like Rich Piana's Mutant Mass, rest in peace, Rich Piana. But I like his mutant mass, the 5% nutrition mutant mass, mass gaining shake or whatever it is. Another simple shake too you can do is throw 2 cups of milk, a scoop of oats, 2 scoops of whey protein, a banana, and some almond butter into a blender, blend it up, and down each morning. That probably has about 1,000 calories, give or take, depending on how much of the ingredients you use. But bulking shakes are a really good way to build up muscle mass really quickly, especially if you can't eat enough because you're always full or you're a hard gainer. In fact, when I was training for my photo shoot for Body of an Alpha, I had a bulking shake that was over 1,500 calories, I believe, first thing in the morning every day. And it was basically the ingredients I just listed, but instead of regular whey protein, I used Rich Piana's mutant mass. So that had like 3,000, 2,000, something like that calories. I was just eating a shit ton of food. So bulking shakes are your best friend if you're trying to gain muscle and you're a hard gainer. Tip number 5 is to simply give it time. Unless you're on SARMs or some sort of performance enhancing drug, you're not going to build muscle as fast as you want, most likely. Personally, there's been times when I've been injured and, or I got sick or something, so I couldn't work out and I was really skinny and I was able to put on muscle mass very rapidly. But that's because I knew exactly how to do it, right? I've done it before, so I can do it again. So if you're following all these tips, if you have a good routine, you're recovering enough and you're eating enough, you'll gain muscle pretty quickly. But it's not going to happen overnight. It's not going to happen as soon as you want, most likely. So be patient, give it time. Consistency is the main thing. A lot of diets out there are fad diets because people will get on them and then they'll lose weight and they'll jump off the diet and then they'll just put the weight back on. Or if you're a hard gainer, you'll build muscle and then you'll stop doing the nutrition stuff you need to do and then you'll lose the muscle. The main thing is consistency. Build the habits and the results will come. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Share it with a hard gainer who needs to see it. Like the video, subscribe to my channel, and as always, I will see you guys next time.